So, first of all, welcome. Thank you for giving me about 30 minutes of your time on a Monday night. The event is coming this Saturday, so I'm incredibly excited for every single one of you. For those that don't know me, my name is Kelsey Lensman. I am the founder here at EmpowHER Fitness, which is soon to be called a different name. I'll share with you guys after. But this event originated, which I'm not going to go the whole backstory, but it originated from one woman, one story, and one specific event at the gym that I had. And she first never thought that she was going to be at a gym, never thought that she'd be maxing out bench press. And that day she ended up actually getting under a bar that was pretty heavy and she was so nervous, so fearful. And I was like, hey, you got this. She brought that bar down and boom, pushed that bar up off her chest. And I could just tell in that moment, every belief that she had, that she doubted herself or questioned or wondered if she could do it, broke. And I always said that we need to create an environment for women that when we come together, like especially whether you're Seattle, Columbus, or South Carolina, this upcoming Saturday is going to be one that you're not going to forget. Like it's not Susie versus Josie over here. Like we come together and we show ourselves what we're capable of. And also at the same time, we step into that little bit of fear zone and we break our beliefs of like, hey, I didn't think that I could do this, but dang, I just did this. And I'm so excited about that next step. And so what we're going to go through tonight, just to give you a North Star, is I'm going to just kind of intro the overall day. We will go over structure of the meet and also the day of events for the meet specifically. Lift regulations and commands. I know that's a big hitter for many of our athletes too, whether you've been in this or also you're just completely new. And then also I'll give some tips for attempt selection and also meet day tips. Okay. And then for those that do not know me personally, I do not like just preaching at people 24/7. Be interactive. So if you have questions, you are not interrupting me, you are not pausing me. This actually will help back a lot of other people on this call because if you have it, I bet another person has it too. All right. So first of all, to get y'all going, I want to hear in the chat, what is one thing that you are most excited about? In the chat, what is one thing you are most excited about? One thing, I'm going to keep letting some humans in here. One thing you are most excited about in the chat. Ooh, Ken, let's go, baby. Getting back at it. You're damn right. Ken, you've never done one of our events either, which is good. Feeling strong. Love it. The vibes, Meg, the vibes will be there, baby. They will be there. I'll tell you that much. Amazing. Yep, see another strong women. Love it. All right, I'm going to flip it on its head. All right. What is one thing that you are most, and nervous might not be the word. For some of you, it's nerves. I got like the little butterflies in my stomach. What the heck am I doing on Saturday? For some of you, it's like, oh, I'm just a little bit hesitant about this. What is the one thing you're most nervous about or most hesitant about? I want you to also put that in the chat for me. Missing the cues. Yep, Meg, we'll talk about that. Gotcha. Having an audience. Yes, I get that, Natalie. I get that. Excited, nervous about doing something uncomfortable. Aim, you are not wrong, girl. Somehow failing all my attempts. I have failed all my attempts before, and I'm still living to tell the story. I will tell you that much. Love it. Okay, so let's get into this here. The structure of the day, and this is regardless, whatever location that you are at. Obviously, time zones are going to be a little bit different, but this is the specific time for your day. Okay. First and foremost is check-in. Every single person has check-in at their location, 8 o'clock to 8:45. Right. What you will do at check-in is you will obviously walk on in. You're going to go to that first welcome table and they will give you a little athlete sheet. It's like a yay big piece of paper, and that will have your rack height on it, your bench opener, and your deadlift opener. What you will then do is you are going to go over to the rack, and the people at the rack, they're going to be your spotters that day. They will help you determine what rack height you want for bench. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, and you're looking like I have a foreign language right here, what that is the height at which you want your like J hook, that thing that you unrack the barbell at, to be able to unrack it. They will help you determine what that is. So you do not need to come in predetermined of what your rack height is. Every rack is different. They will help you. Okay. The one tip that I will give every single one of you is you want your barbell for the bench to be high enough where you're not doing like a mini bench press to even just get it off. So if it was like here, all right, that's too low because I'm doing a whole bench to even get it off. But you also want it low enough where you're not having to like come off the bench to unrack it. Does that make sense? So you just want to really smooth and even, boop, I'm able to push it off. I come down and I'm able to bench. Okay. So you will go over to that rack. You will get your rack heights. On that same piece of paper, you will get your first attempt for deadlift and your first attempt for bench. All right. What I would recommend to every single one of you is come into that day already having your first attempt for bench and first attempt for deadlift already decided. All right. You do not need to have your second and third attempts already ready. You honestly should not have those because it will depend on how your first attempts go. You might have some rough estimates in your brain, but you only need to have your first attempts. For those that have no clue what the first attempt is, one, I'm going to go over this a little bit later in the call, but secondly, post on that Facebook group. I am diligent about helping people find their first attempts and usually I'm pretty good at it. Okay. Not to toot my own horn, but I've done this for a long time. And usually I can get somebody to feel really good about their first attempts. Okay. Obviously, if you have a coach, go to your coach. But if you need some help, I'm more than happy to help you. So like I said, check in 8 to 8:45. You'll check in, get your rack heights, get your first attempts. You'll go over to the scores table, that next table. You will hand them your athlete card that has your rack height, your first attempt for bench, first attempt for deadlift. You will get that lifter goodie bag. I just packed all of them today. I'm incredibly sore from bending over about 100 plus times. And then you'll get your athlete shirt and then you are good to go. Okay. So post 8:45, you are chilling, you're hanging out. Don't worry about warming up so soon. You'll go to the athlete area and you'll kind of just hang out. All right. That is when your butterflies are probably going to be the most because you're just waiting for a little bit. Come 9 o'clock, okay, come 9 o'clock is the athlete meeting. Every single person that is lifting at our event needs to be at that athlete meeting. What we will go over is honestly kind of similar to tonight. We're going to go over commands. We will also go over a good lift and a not good lift, just so you can visually see it in person and go over any questions that any athlete might have there. All right. This will help every single person just kind of visualize, understand it. The head judge will communicate outwardly what we're really looking for. It's the same thing that I'm going to talk to tonight, but that just allows us all to come together and then we'll warm up after that. All right, so athlete meeting, 9 o'clock. You will then have time to warm up. The athlete meeting should take, give or take 15, 20 minutes. And then you will have time to warm up 9:15 to 10 o'clock. So a whole whopping 45 minutes to warm up. All right. Every single, once again, venue, regardless of where you're at, they're going to have a warm-up section. In that warm-up section, we will have dumbbells, we will have barbells, so you can get those warm-ups in, especially before your bench. What I would not do is, I'm going to talk to you about the flights, but everybody goes bench first, and then everybody goes deadlift second. And so don't worry about warming up too much for deadlift at the beginning. Between the athlete meeting and that when lifting starts, that's when I'm predominantly, yes, warming a little bit more my full body up, but predominantly warming my bench up. And then I'll have time to warm up deadlift after. Okay. With this one, I'm not going to go too much into it. Oh, squats here. We're not squatting today or that on Saturday, promise you. But this one's going to be a little bit different depending on the venue. All right. And the reason why I say that is because our Columbus venue has a different number than our Seattle venue, than our South Carolina venue. All are vastly different in how many people we have lifting. But everybody will start their lifting at 10 o'clock. You will start that lifting of bench. So bench is that first lift that you will do. Okay. Per venue, we will then, you'll see this especially as you get into that venue. I have a schedule for each of the venues pending how many athletes that they have. It's projected, especially Columbus, we're projected about, I would say no later than 2 p.m. that day. I'd be amazed if we go till 2. Kara, yes, I am. I better be. Yep, I'm recording. South Carolina, I would say, honestly, you might go till noon. Seattle, you might go until noon, 1 o'clock. Okay. So we'll all do bench, boom, and then we'll all go deadlift. And then last but not least, what we'll do after, it takes us about 5 minutes just to calculate all the awards. And then we'll do the awards. We'll take a cool little picture, and then you are on for the day. All right. For those that are in Columbus, because we have some wild Ohio State fans, what I actually too have at the venue is I will have the game up for all the husbands and people that love watching Ohio State. It will be up. You'll be good to go. You can tell your husbands to chill out. They can still enjoy the game as they come to the event. Okay. So that is the overall structure of the day. Does anybody have any questions about the structure? And give me a little head nod yes or a head nod no if it's a no. Any questions about the venue or about the day? Denise, go for it, girl. Oh, one sec. Try now. No, I'm asking to unmute you. 1 second here. I might be able to. Amy, Denise, while you get unmuted, I'm going to answer Amy's. So projected time for Columbus, I would be amazed if it went after 2 p.m. What I'm really projecting is 2 p.m. honestly cutoff time frame. I don't want to give too much earlier than that just in case we're a little bit over, but I would say 2 p.m. is going to be a good time. Because this is just a push-pull, it goes a lot quicker, but we also have a really good crew in Columbus, so it might just take a little bit longer than the other venues. Denise, did you get unmuted, buddy? And if Okay, got you. While Denise is getting unmuted, anybody else have questions? What's up, Cherie? Yep, you're good, Aim. You can go wear your costume after. All right. So Shreen says, so about hour per bench and hour per deadlift. I'll put in the Facebook group, guys, per venue specific schedule and schedule estimated times. Because it's, like I said, vastly different at each venue. I would say for Columbus, because I know you'll be at Columbus, give or take, it'll be about an hour and an hour. But it also is dependent for venue. So that is not for everybody. Okay. Denise, and you can also put it in the chat too if you can't get unmuted. Oh, there is no, here, go, keep going. Squat, does that say squat? No, there is no squat, baby. We are not squatting today. Amen, hallelujah. I am a happy human about that. Whoever, I was joking around with one of the guys that I train with in the morning. I was like, no, it's just a push pull. We're just doing bench and deadlift. They're like, you're not doing squat. I'm like, no, that's the worst lift. He's like, oh, that's my favorite. I'm like, you're crazy. I'm done training with you because I don't think that's crazy. All right. So we went over structure of the day. Now let's go next step, structure of the meet. Okay. Seattle and Columbus locations, you will each have 3 flights, which I will talk to you about that. South Carolina, you are going to have 1 flight. All right. So as I'm talking 3 flights, just Columbus, Seattle, we have 3. South Carolina, just because we have a smaller number, we have 1. All right. But as you come in, I already have it predetermined. No, do not read too much into it. I just randomly put people in different ones. Is each person is going to be assigned a flight. What a flight is a group of people that will be lifting one after another. So for example, I see Amy, I see Casey, I see Megan on my screen. Amy, Casey, and Megan were in flight A. All right, then I see Kim and Denise. Kim and Denise, I might have put you in flight B. This is just hypothetical, okay? So Amy, Casey, and Megan in flight A, they're all going to bench. They'll do their 3 attempts bench, and then Kim and Denise on flight B, then flight B will go. All right. So how we operate with that is if you, for example, are in flight A, you will do your first attempt on bench. Everybody in flight A will do their first attempt on bench. Flight A is done. Flight B will do their first, second, and third attempts on bench. Flight B is done. Flight C, first, second, third attempts on flight C. Bench is done. We are done with benching. Then we will go to flight A on deadlift. All right. This allows you, the reason why we do this, just so you can kind of see the behind the scenes of it, this allows you to have a good time frame between your lifts, but also not so long that you might be waiting a half an hour to lift again and you get cold. All right. So especially Columbus and Seattle, we have about 10 to 15 per flight. So this allows us to really get into a good routine. You will always follow the person that you're after. So if it's, for example, Amy and Casey, Amy's number 1, Casey's number 2, no matter what the weight is, it'll always be Amy number 1, Casey number 2. Okay. So once again, 3 flights. Once again, flight A, flight B, flight C for bench. Bench is done. Flight A, flight B, flight C for deadlift. Deadlift is done. We are kumbaya and we're eating food and we're getting after it. Okay. Any questions about structure of the meet? Give me a head nod. No, head nod, yes. Nada? No, no post-it note, Denise. Come on now, girl. Shireen, we're good about this one? Okay. Love it. All right, structure of the lift. So once again, we did structure of the day, structure of the actual meet, structure of the lifts. You do not have to remember all of this. We will have an announcer. We will get into this. But in your flight, so let's say, for example, I'm just going to use them because they're on the front of my screen. Amy, Casey, and Megan are in flight A, right? You will wait for the not the announcer. You will wait for the head judge to say up to lift, all right? When you are up to lift, that's when you will actually start progressing the platform. So the head judge will be like, athlete ready, okay? Boom, you are able to go up to the platform. You'll do your lift, and then the next person will go, and then the third person will go. All right. So if you say here, for example, up to lift, you are lifting. If it says, for example, Megan on deck, you are next. And Jill in the hole, you are 3 out. Once again, for those that might not be able to hear because there's a lot going on, we also will have a TV at every location where you're going to be able to see the order. So you're going to be able to see, okay, I'm up next, or I'm in the hole, or what that looks like. Okay. Once again, you'll wait for your name. After you do your lift and you're good, you will always, 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 I say always for a reason, go to the scores table, which is right next to it, and you will give them your second attempts or your third attempts. If you have a coach that is coming with you, or his name is Todd Sable, that is coming with you, they can go to the scores table with you to help you give your next lift. So you are not on an island on yourself. If you have a coach, yes, they can come. Or if you're coming by yourself, I have 2 really equipped people that have trained with me, that have done many competitions, that they can help you also project your next lifts. Same thing will be in Seattle, Washington. Same thing will be in South Carolina. There will be really equipped people at that scores table. If you have no idea what to go after, they can help you. All right. If you don't fail a lift, I would be amazed. Do not go into the day trying to be 6 for 6. I always say, if you go in the day and you get 6 for 6, that means you didn't push hard enough. You didn't find what that limit is, right? So whatever your goals are for this meet, maybe the goal is to be 6 for 6 and a little bit more conservative. That's okay. Make sure that's your game plan. But if you're going in and you're like, okay, like, let me see what I'm capable of, and you just blow by it really easy, that means that we didn't really actually push to where you can get. So failure is not fatal. It is not final. It actually tells me that's a next goal for me to get after. Okay. You should fail. It ain't the end of the world. I do it all the time. Just pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and then get after that next lift. Okay. One note about this second and third attempt, you cannot, I'm going to repeat this again. You cannot go down in weight on your second and third attempts. So for example, if I'm going up and I am benching, and I'm benching 100 pounds on my first attempt, I cannot, even if I fail the lift, I cannot go down to 90 pounds on my second attempt. You have to stay the same or go up. And there's a reason, there's a method for this. I won't bore your time with it, but there's a methodology of why we can't do this. Also with the software, we either want to stay the same or go up. This then plants the seed. And once again, there's going to be very educated people at the scores table that will ask you, okay, do we want to push to this number with knowing that we can't go back down, or do we want to play it a little bit more conservative? Okay. We'll have strategy. We'll talk through it. It ain't the end of the world if you fail it. Any questions on structure of the lifts, or kind of beginning with, we'll talk attempt selection later, but like attempt selection. Good. Head nods, head nods, head nods. Okay. Okay. All right, baby, let's get. All right, this next one is our bench lift commands and regulations. This is a lot of writing on the paper. Tune in to me because I'm going to really section this up. So the first thing with bench, really key into this, is the head judge. You are going to have one head judge in front, two head judges on the side, and we will also have spotters. Okay. If you do not get a lift, you are not done for. We have spotters for a reason. I'm incredibly picky about who we have spot because my main goal is, yes, to have you guys have an amazing day, but it's also to keep you all incredibly safe. So we will have really good spotters there. So the head judge for bench will say platform ready. You will approach the platform. If you have somebody lifting you off, meaning helping lift off the barbell, you can 100% do that. Okay. If you do not have anybody lifting you off, but you want to lift off, I will be there. We'll have a lot of our spotters also be there. You can ask for us. Okay. Or somebody at the different venues. That person that is lifting you off must be get out of the way. All right. The judge will not say start until your spot or the lift off person is out of the way, and we will cue that. Okay. So platform ready, boom, I get set. I get my bench set. I get exactly where I want. They lift me off. I pause at that top until the judge says start. This is not a long pause. What the judge is looking for is a full lockout of your elbows and upper body. We don't want to see this to start. We want to see this to start. Okay. When the judge says start, you bench. You slowly lower it. You touch your chest. You push it up and you wait until the judge says rack and you re-rack the bar. I want to be incredibly clear about this. This is different from us to many other lifting, more federation events, is we do not have a press command. In many lifting events or more federation events, as you get to the bottom, there you will have to wait until the judge says press. This completely threw me off my first ever lifting competition. We do not have that. That is not a thing here. And so the judge will say start, you bench, the judge will say rack, you are done. Is that clear? I really want to make sure that is conveyed clearly. All right. Platform ready, start, rack, you done, you're going to the scores table. What we are looking for is elbows must be in a full lockout position prior to the motion. I do not, and the judge will not say start if we're at a half bend. You should have control of that barbell before it descends. For some of my women, and I love them to death, and I will see this on Saturday, that like to grip and rip it. I always say like they'll grip it and they'll just go down into their bench. That is a no good lift. We want to see full control initially. All right. Also, secondly, the barbell must touch your chest. There must be some contact with your chest. I usually like to cue right underneath kind of the sports bra line is usually a really good place. But regardless of where you touch it, anything is fine as long as there's contact with your chest. For those as it gets heavier in your second and third attempts, as you come down, that's when usually you don't want to go down as far because it's like, oh, shoot, what if I can't get out of it? We have spotters there for a reason. They follow you incredibly close. Trust more me than anything that we have pretty equipped spotters there for you. Okay, I will get on them really quickly. So barbell must touch your chest. Thirdly here, your butt, some part of your butt. Does not have to be the whole thing. It can be a little centimeter of it. I don't care what it is, but some part of your butt must stay on the bench and some part of your foot must stay in contact with the ground. I don't care if it is your big toe, your pinky toe, your middle toe. Whatever that looks like, keep some part of your foot on the ground. Women that have never maxed out truly before, what happens a lot of times at the bench is they will do the wild kick, called the wild kick. They'll start benching and then their feet just start flailing out. That will not give you more power. That will not help it. Keep some part of your foot on the floor and your butt on the bench. Okay. Last but not least, what we're looking for is a full lockout position at the top. So the way that you start is the way that you end. They will look for that before they say rack. Okay. Bench is going to be your first lift. You are going to be jittery. You are going to be nervous. Key into the head judge. They will be in your ear. They will be close. Just let everything else drown out. Just key into platform ready, start, and rack. Don't worry about anything else. Okay. What is a no good lift? Like I said, safety is our utmost important. Yes, let's have a good time. Let's keep you safe after and during. Okay. We will count a no good lift if your feet come up. We will count a no good lift if your butt comes up. We will count a no good lift if you don't touch your chest. And last but not least is we will have a 3-second count of if you are pushing and you stall out and you stall, our head judge will count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. If you have no upward progression after 3 seconds, our spotters will take the bar, and the reason is to keep you safe. Okay. Also with that is if you start pushing up and you're like, shit, it's kind of heavy, and you start descending the bar and like turbocharging it, that is also a not good lift because we don't allow any descending motion to your chest, once again, out of safety to make sure that you're in a good position. Okay. So we just look for one fluid movement. I've had it before where I'm like stalling out, but try to grind through it to keep pushing up. Once again, this is a little side note, just Coach Kel's coming out. Push up and back. Okay. That's how you actually get a really good lift. A solid lift is you don't just push up to the heavens, you push up and back to the rack. It gets your back more into it. Okay. Any questions about bench? Commands, regulations, no good lifts. Give me head nod no if no, give me head nod yes if yes. Shireen, if you get a no good lift called, you get another attempt. Yes, you have 3 total attempts. Okay. So you'll have attempt number 1. If it's a no good lift or it's a good lift, you will always go to the scores table. You might just say the same weight for the next attempt. Then you will have your second one after everybody goes in their first flight or their first time. Then you will have a third attempt. Okay. You will not, I'm going to repeat this. You will not just go back to back. So say, for example, Shireen, you go on the bench, you're trying to hit 200 pounds and you go and you're like, oh, I can't get it. You will wait a whole nother round to do a second attempt versus just trying it to do it again really quick. Does that make sense? Okay. Love it. Love it. All right, crew. We're almost done. I appreciate your time here. Deadlift. Deadlift's easy. Deadlift's the fun one. This is my favorite one. Okay. Deadlift is super easy. So the judge will have his arm raised he'll say platform ready. As the judge raises his arm, okay, you can do your deadlift attempt, meaning stand up with it whenever his arm is raised. So you can take as long, well, not as long. Please be mindful of time. Don't take 5 minutes. We will call you on that. But you will geez Louise, Kels. You will have his arm raised and you will do your deadlift attempt, whatever time that takes you to do it. Okay. You will lower the bar. Watch me here. As his arm goes down, that is when you lower the bar. You do not lower it until his arm goes down. He is not going to make you stand up and hold it for 5 minutes. Okay. What he is looking for is a whole upright and locked out position and not like a half bend, just to make sure that you have control over it. So platform ready, I walk up to the platform, I get into my deadlift position, boom, I pull it up. As his arm goes down, you go down. Okay. Please, 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 I've done this wrong and I felt like a jerk. Please lower the bar with your body. Okay. I love my CrossFitters. I did CrossFit at a time. Y'all love to drop it at the top. Okay. We want to definitely follow it down just like you were to set it back on the ground. Okay. That is more from a safety position, number 1, but then also to make sure that we're taking care of the facility, number 2. Okay. A no good lift is one, if you don't get it, that's obvious. If it stays on the ground, it's no good lift. Secondly, here is hitching. We will go over this in our specific judge or athlete meeting, but what hitching is this, for example, like you try to pull your knees under to get it up. It's like strongman style. So say I'm deadlifting and I like thrust my knees under to get it up. Okay. That is a no good lift from a safety position. All right. If you have no idea what hitching is, just shoot me a message. I can send you a video from it. We're a little bit more lenient than many different federations because this is many people's first lift. But if it's a very obvious hitch, we will call you for it. Secondly, here, and I actually did this at a competition, is I decided I wanted to walk with the bar. It was really heavy, and so I pulled it up and I lost my balance, and so I started to walk with it. I got the barbell up, but I actually didn't get a good lift because I can't walk with the barbell with deadlifting. So also, if you are hitching or walking with the barbell, that is a no good lift. Okay. Regulations are easy. Begin with the bar on the ground. The bar must continue to ascend on the way up. You must have a full upright and locked position of your knees and your hips and your upper body. No half hinge for me. And you're good. Okay. This also doesn't mean you need to hyperextend. Okay. This just means stand up straight. So do not try to prove the judge right and over hyperextend it. Just stay up straight with the bar. All right. Deadlift's easy. You're ready to rip. Come deadlift just because it's fun. You're like, bench is out of the way. Let me just pick some heavy stuff up and it's good. Any questions with deadlift? Head nod no, head nod yes. Okay. Love it, love it, love it. All right, last two. Guidelines here. You can use wrist wraps. Okay, if you use a wrap, you can use wrist wraps. You can use knee sleeves. You usually will not for deadlift, but you can wear them if you want. You can also wear a lifting belt. We will also have lifting belts there to utilize if you do not own your own. And you can wear your lifters. Those are like the chunky heel ones. You most likely won't because we're not squatting. And you can wear regular shoes or you can go barefoot with socks on them. Many deadlifts, I have my women do it barefoot, but like with socks, please be sanitary. You can also do that too. Okay. What you cannot use, and I say this incredibly loud and clear because this always gets one or two people, is you cannot use wrist straps. What wrist straps are is it goes around the barbell to help you with your grip. You cannot use wrist straps or lifting gloves. I know some people get on me for it. It helps you with your grip though. Okay, we want to keep a very even competition, no wrist straps or lifting gloves. Okay, we have chalk there for a reason. And last but not least, you cannot use knee wraps. It's like actually you wrap your knees. You wouldn't because that's usually a squat thing, but just in case. All right. What you do not need to wear to this one, that is very different than many others, is you do not need to wear deadlift socks. Okay, just wear whatever socks that you want to. If you want to wear fun socks, by all means, go for it. And you do also not need to wear a singlet. What many people will wear to our events, if you have a singlet, by all means wear it. You're more than welcome to. But what many people will wear is just, for example, like leggings and a tank top or leggings and a t-shirt. As long as we can see your hips and your knees and we're able to see those angles, I'm a happy human. Okay. So try not to be in too crazy baggy stuff at the lower body just because we want to see a full upright and locked position in deadlift, but you can wear whatever your heart desires as long as number one, you're covered, and number two, we're able to see knees and hips. Okay. I know it's Halloween. Don't get crazy on me though. Okay. No funkiness going on. Any questions with guidelines? Got it? Good. I must be really clear then, or I'm going to get a bajillion questions after, one of the two. Attempt selection here. I did put an attempt selection tool in our Facebook group. Okay. This will allow you to help you with understanding your kind of 1 rep max percentages and what you should work up with. I always say for this first, if you have a coach, by all means, go with the coach and what they say. But if you're like, Kels, I have no idea. Number one, ask me. Shireen, I'm going to get back to you on yours specifically too. But ask me. And you, for my opinion, you always want your first attempt a completely no-brainer. I want you to be able to walk up to that bar and feel so confident you can get that weight. Okay. You also, though, want it heavy enough that you don't have to make 30-pound jumps to get to the goal that you have for you. So I want it light enough where I'm like, I can do this with my eyes closed, but I want it heavy enough to say, okay, if I jump 10 pounds or 15 pounds or 20 pounds, it's not going to be such a big jump where I'm going to feel so different on my second and third attempt. All right. That's number one. Number two, this is where you want to be a little bit courageous here. All right. I always say this one, like, let's push a little bit. Worst comes to worst, you don't get it, you try it again. So second attempt, like I said, we will be there to help you. You will either have to stay the same or go up. Even if you miss your first attempts, it happens to everybody. Not everybody. It happens to some people. You will still either have to stay the same or go up. All right. Third attempt, once again, I just say full send it. You're here, you might as well just full send it. Either stay the same or go up on that third attempt too. Okay. If you get a failed lift, it's inevitable for many of us. If you get a failed lift, just take feedback from the judge. What was missed? Did I not lock out fully? Did I not listen to a command? Did I just not get the lift? Don't get emotional. Don't get in your head. I always say that keep that stuff outside of the exact weight room. Just take an objective cue like, okay, this is what I'm going to do better next time. When we don't get emotional about it and we just make it better our next attempt, that's when it usually goes really well. When people spiral and they're like, oh my God, I failed, I'm a failure, that's when usually it doesn't go as well. Okay. This is just as much of a mind game as it's going to be a physical game on Saturday, which is my personal favorite. All right, last two things, meet week tips, which is this week. If I see any of you maxing out on Friday night, I am going to kick you out of our event. All right. In all seriousness, no, we should have very light lifting throughout this week. I know, especially for our crew, today you might have done a really light lift, nothing too crazy, just kind of get in the motion. Tuesday might be a light lift also. Wednesday is your absolute last lift. Okay. In my opinion, we should not be also lifting Thursday and Friday because we want to go into Saturday completely fresh, recovered, ready to rock, like you're good. Okay. Personally, for me, I'm a very routine girl. I usually, even no matter what my event, I will still go to the gym and I'll do some mobility or just some light movement just because I like to be in my routine. So you can still go, but try not to max out or go heavy towards the back half of this week. Good. All right. Nutrition. Oh yeah, we're about there. Nutrition, bring food for our athletes, especially Columbus. Seattle and South Carolina, you might not be there as long, so you might not need it. But we will have Clean Eats sponsored for you. So we will have some food there, but still bring it. Okay. Make sure you have some carbs. Make sure you, whether it be peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or turkey sandwiches or bagels, have some, or granola bars, have some things in your system before, but then also just to kind of munch on throughout the day. This is not going to be a very long day. Some lifting events actually are like 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. And so ours is actually very fast comparatively, but you still want something in your system to eat. For those that are at Columbus specifically, we will have a concession stand over in the main part of the gym. And so there's Nutri-Grain bars, there's Fit Crunch bars, there's water, there's energy drinks. Like we will have that there, but still bring it just so you can have it too. Okay. Have something in your belly. This is also when you will see a lot of, especially that are in power and federation meets, you'll see gummy bears, you will see Skittles, you will see all the quick sugary stuff. And so I always say, like, give yourself some juice, bring it there, and then to go hit a PR. Makes it good. All right, here. Last thing. Meet day tips. Once again, that we will have this specifically posted on the athlete area wall. Is we want to warm up. So raise your heart rate, whether that be hop on a bike, just walk around the building, whatever that is. Activate the muscles you're using. For those that are part of my crew, you're going to see everybody go down and do their glute activation. Okay, but activate whether it's your back, utilize a banded pull apart, activate some of those muscles. Okay, I always practice with a dead bar. So when I'm going first to bench, even now to this day, I do not put weight on the bar for my first few reps. I go just the barbell. I want to make sure everything's firing, that I'm in a good position. Same thing for deadlift. I do some RDLs with just a barbell, and then I slowly progress up from that weight. Okay. Do not over warm up. Do not over warm up. If you're hitting your first attempt in your warm up, we don't want to do that. You should be about 5 to 10 pounds off in your warm up before your first attempt. Okay. And then that's it, baby. I'm going to say this too on the meet day, but there's going to be 3 rules that day. Is number 1, we all have that little voice that doubts, that question, that hesitates. It's probably right now, like, what the heck am I getting myself into on Saturday? Okay. All of us have that. Your goal on that Saturday is to beat that voice. That voice is no longer in the driver's seat. That voice is no longer determining what you do and don't do. Have that doubt, that question, that hesitation there, and prove it wrong that day. Okay. And that's number 1. Number 2, I tell all my girls this, play all out. You're there for a reason. Why are you going to not actually go to what you can actually do because you're afraid to fail? Like play all out that day. If you fail, you fail. If you hit them all, you hit them all. But allow yourself to leave that day not wondering what if. I had so many women that will come back to our competitions because they're like, oh, I know you told me this, Kels, but I was like questioning whether I should do it. Just go all out that day. And number three, what's also different about our events, you will feel this, not even see this. You will feel this on Saturday, is we support the hell out of each other, first and foremost. The vibes are going to be crazy. The gym's going to be popping. You're going to be nervous as you walk in. But by the end of that day, I promise you, you will leave not only just a different person in the best way, you will leave with women that are your humans in the best way possible. Okay. So if all you guys can abide to those three rules, I'm a happy human and we're going to have a really successful event day. Cool. Any questions? Head nod. Sure and good. Man, I must have done a bomb job then. Okay. I would hope by 3 years from now that I'm actually decent at these calls. All right, crew. Well, if you all have any questions, maybe post this. Number one, I will post this in the Facebook group. Oh, thanks, Natalie. I appreciate that. A little bump up for this evening. First of all, I will post this in the Facebook group. Okay. Second of all, do not be a stranger on there. If you have questions, I'm in there a lot this week too. Ask the questions, ask what you should be attempting. And I also will just make sure that we're really good to go in it. All right. But besides that, whether you're Seattle, South Carolina, or Columbus, have an amazing weekend. And let's go kick some butt this week. I'm excited for you guys. All right. Have a good Monday, everybody. Love y'all.